Today we're going to take a look at our very first 2026 Subaru Outback. As many of you know already, this is a complete redesign. It's a 7th generation Outback. There's a lot that has changed. We're going to go over some of the key differences in today's video. And this one is for sale and available for test drive. So if anybody lives in the Louisville, Kentucky area, we have one here at Bachman Subaru. My name is Alex. Feel free to reach out to me if you want an opportunity to check one of these out. This one is in the limited trim level, so it is kind of like the upper trim line for the Subaru Outbacks, next to the Touring, which is the highest trim line. So it's got the leather interior, the heated steering wheel, navigation, things like that. We're gonna go over some of the cool features, some things that you may not realize exist on this car. I'm gonna point those out for you in today's video. And one of the first things that I noticed that I was really pleased with is the large cup holders and the sides of the doors. So this is a 32-ounce water bottle. I like to drink a lot of water, you gotta stay hydrated, right? So this fits nicely and secure in your side of your door. And when we hop in here, of course, one of the big updates a lot of people have been talking about is the addition of this new horizontal touchscreen display, which has a really nice opening screen with the sunrise and the mountains. And now standard for 26 on the Outbacks is going to be this digital gauge cluster, which you can change the gauge cluster. There's 4 different settings. We'll go over that here in just a moment, talk about that in a little more detail. But one thing that I want to point out is how solid these front windows sound. And that is due in part to the fact that these are insulated front windows. And one way you can tell, if you just roll your window down here, you'll see a little split in the middle of the window. That's because this has some additional insulation within it to help cut down on road noise. So whenever you are driving on the highway and things like that, they've cut down on that road noise with the front windows being insulated. You also have more insulation in the door cards, more insulation up on the headliner. By the way, you have a black headliner now, which I think was a good addition, just helping cut down on any fingerprints or dirt that might accumulate on the headliner. The old ones had like a light gray headliner, so this is a great addition. So anyways, these drive really well. You kind of have to test drive one for yourself to see that, but it is really quiet in comparison to the previous gen. Not that the previous generation was loud by any means. I've got a 23 myself, but this one just goes a step further. You have your cup holders now going vertical instead of horizontal. Just makes it a little easier to access your water bottles and drinks when you're driving. And of course, we have the physical climate controls. I know a lot of people are excited about this because people have asked for it for many years. In the last generation, we had this large vertical touchscreen, and you had your map and your phone apps up here, and then down below you had your touchscreen climate controls. And so now they've changed that, and it's very easy to use these. Something else really cool I just found out with the new Subaru is that they've updated the voice commands. So I've made videos on this in the past using Subaru's voice command, and it's kind of laggy and didn't always understand what I was trying to say. But this one is a lot better, and I'll show you an example now. Hey Subaru, can you turn on my driver heated seat?
Driver's seat heater set to high.
There you go, very quick. And now you can also turn on your passenger heated seat. Hey Subaru, turn on passenger heated seat.
Passenger seat heater set to high.
So you can see how quick that is. You can also adjust the heated seat levels. Hey Subaru, driver heated seat low.
Setting heated seat to low on the driver's side.
And lastly, hey Subaru, turn the temperature to 72 degrees.
Driver's side set to 72 degrees.
You can see how quick that is, and I'm sure there's more voice commands we can dive into. I'll probably make a dedicated video on that in the future, but I just wanted to show you quickly how much better the voice command works with the 26 Outback Subaru. And of course, you can still use the physical buttons if you prefer. They're really easy to use, but I wanted to show you how quick and easy it was to also use the Subaru onboard voice command. And just like in the previous generation Outback, we do have wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto available, making it nice and seamless to be able to connect your phone to your new 2026 Outback. And this is super convenient because not only can you have hands-free phone text, but you also have the ability to pull up your maps. And something new for this year is that not only do you have your maps available on this large display in the center, but because of this digital gauge cluster, which is now standard for the 26 Outback, you can click this button to cycle over to the maps on the gauge cluster. So it's nice front and center. If you want, you can close out of this screen. You can have something else displayed here. Something really cool for this generation is a calm screen. So if you want just something more minimalistic, you just want your time and your weather and your day, you don't want a lot up here on the screen, you can have that over there and have your center gauge cluster. But you also have 3 other screens here. So you have your map display. If we click this button here again, we have what's called the EyeSight screen, which if you've ever used Subaru's EyeSight, they've had this for many years, but you have adaptive cruise control. You don't have to have it on this screen, by the way, to be able to use your adaptive cruise. This is just a dedicated screen for it. You can have a calm mode over here. So it simplifies what's on the display with your just showing basic information like your speed, time, weather, and fuel, and then back to our main screen. So it's really cool. You've got a couple different ways you can kind of customize or configure this to your own personal preferences. We still have our USB-A, USB-C charging ports, but what Subaru has done, instead of having these kind of buried back in this storage area, they've brought them out further, so much easier to access than the previous generation. Of course, you have a nice wireless charging pad here with an on-off switch for those who maybe you want to store your phone here or store something here and you don't want that charging. You can turn that on and off. But this also has a cool little cable routing system. Now this is a pretty short cable, so you probably wouldn't need it for this, but just to show you an example, you can plug your cable in, have it charging, and then this doesn't look like it goes that far back, but it's pretty deep. I mean, you can fit a phone in there. This is the iPhone Pro Max, so it is the larger phone that fits in there nicely, and it's kind of out of the way. From here, you can't even tell that it's there. So yeah, that's kind of nice if you do have maybe a phone, passengers charging their phone here, and you've got one on the wireless charging pad. Just a cool little setup that they've changed for this year. Unique design in that charging system. And not only did we get an updated touchscreen, but whenever you put it in reverse, it does appear the rear camera may have been updated as well. At least you have a larger view, and you can quickly turn on and off your reverse automatic braking. That's the system that will automatically apply the brakes if we're about to hit something in the rear, or our rear parking sensor. So just a nice addition, nice visual for this new model, especially if you have one of the trim levels that has that surround view camera. And here's a little side-by-side comparison. We've got the 2026 Outback on the right, we have the 2025 on the left. The 26 Outback has a couple inches taller on the roof and in the cargo area, but the length of them, the wheelbase, and even the ground clearance are identical on the 26 to the 2025. So they're really not as drastic as you might be led to believe online from the videos and pictures that the media has put out, because this is still essentially a similar size to the previous gen. And I'll put the specs here on the screen so you guys can see some of the comparisons between the two on the previous gen to the new one. If you want to see an in-depth comparison between the two, because there are more differences other than what you see visually, stay tuned. I'm going to have a full video comparing the 2025 to the 2026, as well as a full driving video, an opportunity where I'm actually driving this out on the highway and kind of talking through some of the cool new features for the 26 model that are not available on the 2025. So stay tuned for that. More videos coming soon on this new Outback. And if you all have any questions about the Subaru Outback, comment down below. I'll do my best to answer those for you and maybe even make a dedicated video answering some of the questions that you all have. These have just started arriving at Subaru retailers here in the middle part of November. If you want an opportunity to test drive one, reach out to your local retailer. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, if you're in Louisville, Kentucky or near Louisville and you want to test drive one of these with me, I'd love the opportunity to help you and show you around all the cool features of this car. You can reach out to me through my contact information in the description box below. I hope you all enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I will see you in the next one.